Come with me as I go teach a private soap class. We're going to start off by prepping our lye. I should have done this the day before, but I was running out of time. But you see it goes from room temp to over 200 degrees. Always mark for safety. And I'm doing a soap making class for 2 people. And I like to pre-weigh and measure my oils so that we don't use up class time getting those things done. All right, we're ready to go. Okay, so we're subbing the remaining water for coconut milk in the recipe. First start. Agonizing.
Yeah.
It ain't that. Cause that's the 1-to-1.
Yeah.
So 2.3 ounces of
Oh,
water.
because you already.
I've already
Okay,
pre-batched.
okay, because we didn't put no water in.
Yeah.
Because the water's already in there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Got it.
So that's the only time. It, like I said, it's like, and I try not to do too much math when I'm doing it, and it's really heavy. It's very heavy. Like it's never gonna match. So you never want to go by like, oh, I need 4 ounces and measure
Right.
Yeah.
by volume.
Mhm.
You have to go by weight because lye solution is super heavy. Whenever you're getting ready to blend, you're going to put it in a container at an angle so air doesn't get trapped under there. Because then you're done blending and you're ready to pour. You want to grip here. It's harder to, but you just grip here and turn. It'll come off. And then we leave this because it's top heavy, so it'll flop over and knock your soap over if you don't detach the blade. So you're gonna put it in the cup at an angle.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. And then once it gets down, you can just tilt it again, make sure there's no air coming out from underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're gonna take your lye solution. And since this is such a small container, I would recommend staying it on low because we don't have a lot of extra room. Just go ahead and pour that in. And sometimes they'll tell you like, oh yeah, pour a dumb thing with the stick blender so you don't get air bubbles. Don't nobody care about that. But you see a reaction already starting to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
All right. So now you want to make sure you're holding this with your non-dominant hand, and you're going to go ahead and just do a couple of quick pulses. So to check for trace, you just gently lift it out of the container and just drizzle a little bit. But you see how slowly that imprint is fading back in there?
Yeah.
You're already at trace.
Okay.
Because the lye was hot
Mm-hmm.
and because of the way I formulate with a little bit less water than is the typical recipe so that we can get it to trace really quickly and get in, because I told y'all I'm impatient.
Right.
I don't like waiting a long
Not
time.
bad.
Once you get about half of it right there, you can stop, and then we're gonna tamp it down just a little bit. That's gonna help to level it and
Yeah,
push
like
those
in
air
the
pockets
cake.
out.
Mhm.
Keep going.
Yep, you can keep going. You can fill it up. And then whatever you have left over, we're just gonna pour in your overflow mold. That'll be your extra soaps. All right.
Shake it.
Tamp it down a little bit. Camera, that's his. I don't want to tip too much because. All right, so yours is ready. We're going to just sit it out of the way. So spices and florals will accelerate your batter and it makes it move really quickly. So you won't have time to play with a bunch of different colors. You just have to either color the whole batch one color or no color. And then in at an angle, and then once it's all the way down to the bottom, just tilt it a little bit, make sure no air comes out, you're good. Okay, now you're going to add your lye into your container. And then you're gonna pulse a few times on low. Secure it with your non-dominant hand.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're at trace pretty quickly too. So you see how it's lingering on the surface.
Yeah.
But you see how quickly, that's why I try to add everything before I add lye, because you
Right. And once you add this, you
Boom.
ain't got time
You don't
to
have
add
time.
nothing else.
Yep, you don't have a whole bunch of time.
Okay.
Now some fragrances like this one thicken up pretty quickly, but sometimes you can go in and see how that loosened up just a teeny tiny bit. You can go ahead and pour in your main mold, but it would also take a longer time for it to get it out the mold. So, oh yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of extra soap.
Yeah.
That little bit more. That's about as much as we want to put in there. Okay, pour the rest in there.
I see now why one edge, I've seen soap where one edge is like kind of rough. So now I
That's
understand.
why. And as far as like the dishes and stuff, whenever you're making soap, especially like cold processed soap, the easiest way is get paper towels, clean out as much of the residue as you can, and then leave them to sit for 24 hours. After 24 hours, the residue of soap just cleans itself. So you don't have to, because if you try to clean it now, it's sticky
Mm-hmm.
and it'll get down your pipes and turn into soap in your
Got
pipes.
it.
So you leave it for at least 24 hours so the residue turns into soap. And that's not as hot. Plastic doesn't conduct heat the way wood does. So wood is a good insulator. And so what happens when you go through gel phase, it forces saponification a little bit faster, but it also forces the colors to come back a little bit darker. So you see how this is cooler, so it's a lighter, and that's a darker green.
Inside when it's dark.